Hello, I will present my thesis at an international conference. My name is Joo Kim. The title of the paper is The Effect of Self-Control and Anxiety on Prenatal Depression in Unmarried Pregnant Women. Let's get started. Recently, in our society, premature sex experience is prevented due to the influence of the Western societies of the sexual culture and the weakening of traditional sexual relations. However, with the current level of sex education, it is difficult for unmarried men and women to have the capacity to control pregnancy on their own through appropriate contraceptive management. In this regard, the number of single pregnant women in Korea has increased lately. Pregnancy and delivery are significant events that can cause high stress throughout a woman's life. During pregnancy, women experience various physical changes as well as emotional, social, and role changes. In particular, physical discomfort such as morning sickness and weight gain due to rapid hormone change, along with sleep quality, high-risk pregnancy, the gender of the child to be born, and the burden of child rearing in the future lead to anxiety to depressions in pregnant women. The subjects of this study were 5 single mother and child facilities located in DK and two cities. By calling in advance, the questionnaire request and the purpose of the study were explained, and the questionnaire and research consent form were sent by email. Among the 8 facilities that allowed the consent to the questionnaire are Area D, one site, and K Area, one site. Visited the researcher directly distributed the questionnaire and corrected 46 copies on the spot. In one other area, the questionnaire was distributed to the person in charge of the facilities by mail, and 36 copies were collected by the person in charge of the facility by mail after the questionnaire was completed. Pregnant women with prenatal depressions are in poor health. Prematurity, low birth weight, delayed perinatal growth, and increased fetal activity were found in pregnant women who experienced depression during pregnancy. Also, depressed pregnant women show less interest in the fetus and less interaction with the fetus. In particular, unmarried pregnant women experience difficulties in experiencing successful pregnancy and childbirth because they do not receive support from society and family. In the society are prejudiced against the premature pregnancy and the negative view that they are sexually promiscuous women along with this burden. Pregnant women with prenatal depression are in poor health. Premature low birth rate, delayed perinatal growth, and increased fetal activity were found in pregnant women who experienced depression during pregnancy. Also, depressed pregnant women show less interest in the fetus and less interaction with the fetus. In particular, unmarried pregnant women experience difficulties in experiencing successful pregnancy and childbirth because they do not receive support from society and family in the social prejudice against the premature pregnancy and the negative view that they are sexually promiscuous women along with this man. It was found that unmarried pregnant women engaged in fewer prenatal nursing activities such as nutrition, healthcare, and supportive interpersonal relationship than married women, and the level of fetal attachment was also reported to be lower than that of married women. Self-control is the degree to which one considers change in one's life under one's own control. Women with a high sense of self-control experience less negative emotions such as depression because they evaluated that they can manage the stress of a life event such as pregnancy under their own control. In previous studies, it was reported that the level of postpartum depression in pregnant women with a high sense of self-control was low. Hello, I will present my thesis at an international conference. My name is Joo Kim. The title of the paper is The Effect of Self-Control and Diet on Prenatal Depression in Unmarried Pregnant Women. Let's get started. Previous studies, it was reported that the level of postpartum depression in pregnant women with a high sense of self-control was low. As discussed above, there is a need for a study to investigate and confirm the degree of prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women, which negatively affects the health of unmarried pregnant women and the growth and development of the fetus. Previous studies, it was reported that the level of postpartum depression in pregnant women with a high sense of self-control was low. As discussed above, there is a need for a study to investigate and confirm the degree of prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women, which negatively affects the health of unmarried pregnant women and the growth and development of the fetus. This will be an important study for preventing prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women and delivering a nursing intervention to give birth to healthy children. In addition, although self-control and prenatal depression in pregnant women have been reported until recently, there are few studies investigating prenatal depression in single pregnant women. Therefore, in this study, the relationship between self-control and diet and prenatal depression was identified and factors affecting prenatal depression were identified and provided as basic data for a nursing intervention program for the management of prenatal depression in unmarried women. Research method. Research design. This study is a descriptive research study to identify factors influencing prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women. Research method. Research design. This study is a descriptive research study to identify factors influencing prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women. Research method. Research design. This study is a descriptive research study to identify factors influencing prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women. For the recruitment of study subjects, the researcher personally visited the facility for unmarried women and explained the purpose of the study. Autonomy of participation, flexibility of voluntary withdrawal, confidentiality of personal information, etc. Then, after explaining how to fill out the questionnaire, the completed questionnaire was collected after filling out the questionnaire before the program started. It looks about 20 minutes to fill out the questionnaire, and some examples of the questionnaire responses were provided. Research method. Research tools. 2.3.1 Sense of mastery. In order to measure the degree to which one considers changes in one's life under one's own control, the sense of mastery developed by peering ETF was used as a measuring tool adapted by the Korean Trade Anxiety Inventory. The state anxiety scale is a 20-item four-step scale that Kim adapted and uses stated trait anxiety inventory developed by Spielberg ETF2. The Python difference FoCoS.IDIC developed to measure the emotional instability in which deals with outrage, obsess over trifles, and irritability due to emotional crisis caused by mental and physical tension during pregnancy. The Korean version of the Edinburgh Personality Depression Scale (EPDS), which was adapted and modified by Gi-won-han et The Python difference FoCoS.IDIC developed to measure the emotional instability in which deals with outrage, obsess over trifles, and irritability due to emotional crisis caused by mental and physical tension during pregnancy. The Korean version of the Edinburgh Personality Depression Scale (EPDS), which was adapted and modified by Gi-won-han et. Method of data collection. Among the 15 facilities that allowed the consent to the questionnaire area, D and K area, visited the researcher directly, distributed the questionnaire, and collected 46 copies on the spot. In one other area, the questionnaire was distributed to the person in charge of the facility by mail, and 36 copies were collected by the person in charge of the facility by mail after the questionnaire was completed. It took about 15 minutes to fill out the questionnaire. Among unmarried pregnant women between 12 and 40 weeks of gestation, 76 women who understood the purpose of this study and consented to participate were enrolled. The subjects of this study were five single mother and child facilities located in DK and P cities. By calling in advance, the questionnaire request and the purpose of the study were explained, and the questionnaire and research consent form were sent by email. Among the 8 facilities that allowed the consent to the questionnaire are area D, one site, and K area, one site. Visited the researcher directly, distributed the questionnaire, and collected 46 copies on the spot. In one other area, the questionnaire was distributed to the person in charge of the facilities by mail, and 36 copies were collected by the person in charge of the facility by mail after the questionnaire was completed. Conclusions. The result of this study is that the higher the self-control and the lower the anxiety, the higher the self-control and the lower the anxiety level. The higher the level of prenatal depression is assessed, and based on this, the need to develop and apply nursing intervention for unmarried pregnant women is suggested too. Results. Influencing factors on prenatal depression. As a result of testing, the assumption of regression analysis or conditions of the regression equation were satisfied. In the autocorrelation test of the error, the Darwin Watson statistics was, and there was no autocorrelation between the independent variables. Influencing factors on prenatal depression. A step-by-step regression analysis was performed with independent variables such as self-control, anxiety, and parenting plans that were significantly correlation with prenatal depression. Self-control, anxiety, and the current baby rearing plans were found to be factors independently influencing prenatal depression, and these variables accounted for 24.7% of the overall model. Based on the results of this study, the following suggestions are made. First, it is necessary to repeat the study by adding various variables that affect the prenatal management of unmarried pregnant women. Second, further research is needed to develop a nursing intervention program for prenatal management of unmarried pregnant women and to verify its effectiveness. Conclusion. This study is a descriptive research study to investigate the effects of self-control and state anxiety on prenatal depression in single pregnant women. Based on the results of this study, it is suggested that it is necessary to develop a nursing intervention program for prenatal depression that fosters a sense of self-control in unmarried pregnant women and reduces state anxiety. The purpose of this study is to investigate the self-control, anxiety, and prenatal depression of unmarried pregnant women and to identify predictors of prenatal depression unmarried pregnant women. The subjects of this study were unmarried pregnant women in 7 of 15 protection facilities for unmarried pregnant women. Data were analyzed using IBM SPSS 24 through mean and standard deviation, t-test, ANOVA, Pearson correlation, and stepwise regression analysis. As a result, self-control showed a negative correlation with prenatal depression, and anxiety showed a negative correlation with prenatal depression. In addition, the factors affecting prenatal depression in unmarried pregnant women were self-control and anxiety, and the explanatory power was 24.7%. Therefore, based on the results of this study, it is necessary to develop a nursing intervention. influencing factors on prenatal depression. A step-by-step regression analysis was performed with independent variables such as self-control, anxiety, and parenting plans that were significantly correlation with prenatal depression. Self-control, anxiety, and the current baby rearing plans were found to be factors independently influencing prenatal depression, and these variables accounted for 24.7% of the overall model.